Welcome back, everybody. The world's biggest video game publishers are all trying to beat Fortnite at its own game. The free-to-play online shooter has become a cultural phenomenon, and its competitors are certainly struggling to keep up. Activision Blizzard, makers of the record-breaking Call of Duty franchise, has seen its shares fall 11% year-to-date. The company is planning to announce a new round of layoffs after the closing bell this hour. And Take-Two Interactive has seen its shares fall 13% year-to-date, despite publishing the best-selling game of 2018, Red Dead Redemption 2. And this week, Fortnite makers have finally met their match. EA, or Electronic Arts, says its own free-to-play game, Apex Legends, smashed Fortnite's record for first-week growth. 25 million players have signed up. Investors rejoiced. Shares rose 28% this year. Joining me live now from London, Guy Cocker is Global Brand Director at Stuff magazine and a former editor at GameSpot. Guy, thank you so much for being with us. So when you look at these companies, Take-Two, EA, Activision, how on earth, what do they need to do to compete with the likes of Fortnite?
Well, the interesting and exciting thing about the video games industry is that it's always at the forefront of technology and everything is moving very quickly. Now, that presents a challenge to people like Activision, who just a few years ago had franchises like Call of Duty, Guitar Hero, Skylanders, massive sellers that were doing well year on year. But because it moves so quickly, and as you mentioned in the intro there, Fortnite's come in and sort of stolen away all of that attention, all of those eyeballs. Fortnite has a staggering 200 million unique players per month at the moment. So while EA's game's on 25 million, it's still got a long way to go to match Fortnite. And it's really just that attention, especially with younger players, that's being taken away by these free-to-play games. These free-to-play games monetize through in-game purchases that people can buy small amounts as they go. But the barrier to entry is zero. You can download these games on your Xbox, on your PlayStation, on your PC, with Fortnite, even on your mobile device. So these games are everywhere. They're free-to-play. And premium publishers like Activision have had a hard time competing. And as we've seen they've got their earnings call very shortly, and we expect some layoffs tomorrow, so some heavy restructuring for Activision.
So when you think about, gosh, you said 200 million unique players for Fortnite. Listen, yes. I'm not a video game player, but I know a lot about Fortnite just because of nieces and nephews and that sort of thing. What is it about the game that makes it just so addictive?
Well, it's a family-friendly title for one, so it is suitable for all ages. There is a mild amount of violence in it, but there's a lot of teamwork that's involved. There's an addictive element to it that the last person standing wins out of all of these players. But it's really had a cultural moment. A lot of people will have heard of this game being heavily streamed on the video game streaming platform Twitch. Famous players like Drake, massive streamers getting involved in this. And to go back to Activision for a second. Activision did have the biggest selling game of last year, of 2018, with Call of Duty, which actually did outsell Red Dead Redemption, at least in stores in America. But right now on Twitch, which is where people watch other people playing games, as crazy as that sounds, it's about the 43rd biggest game. And Fortnite and this new game that EA's just announced, Apex Legends, are the #1 and #2 games that are being streamed by people and watched by people. So the market's changing very quickly. And actually last week with EA, it did have a disappointing earnings call. And investors were shocked with the results, but it managed to, if not completely turn it around, but get investors back on board with this game, Apex Legends, which almost in a sort of Beyonce surprise release kind of way, just dropped and has racked up in like you said, just over a week, 25 million players, which is phenomenal. It's surprising even to myself.
So Apex Legends did well, but it did have Battlefield. That title flopped during the holidays, right? So it's had to deal with both sides of the coin. But Guy, I've got to leave it there. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.